When the sun has set on a Friday night, bringing peace into your home, families will gather all around singing Shabbat Shalom. Everybody sing Shalom, Shalom. Shalom, Shalom. A gift from God, so put a smile upon your face. He's got the whole world in his hands, so obey his commands and you will know peace. Shalom, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so wonderful to be with you on this Shabbat. This Shabbat is the third Shabbat since Simchas Torah. That means that we are in the third Torah portion. I'd like to go into my office at the Jewish home to engage in a little bit of a discussion with you on this subject. Come on, let's go.
My friends, this week's Torah portion is called Lech-Lecha. And it's the Torah portion where Abraham and Sarah enter the scene. Well, I have to tell you, I've studied Torah for many years, but I learned the best Torah from my mom, who's truly a Torah scholar. And so I thought it might be fun to exchange ideas with my mom. Now, you're not going to see her live, but you will hear her because I asked her to call in on her telephone. Hi, Mom, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. So what I thought might be interesting would be to discuss the first two words of the Torah portion, which are Lech-Lecha. What are your thoughts about that strange phrase of Lech-Lecha? And keep in mind that a lot of our viewers don't necessarily speak Hebrew.
Yeah. Lech-Lecha means to go somewhere. We don't know where, but we go. So I think of myself and my husband going from Israel, coming to Los Angeles. And it's very hard to come to a new place. So I'm sure when Abraham came to Canaan, was very hard for him. It's hard to be immigrant.
Wow, it's hard to be an immigrant. That's a really good point. And in Lech-Lecha, just so that people know the background, Abraham and Sarah were living in an area known as Ur, which was Mesopotamia. And God says to them, go forth on this journey, and you're going to need to go to Canaan, which would be Israel. And my mom's reference to when she and my father came to the United States, I think would resonate for a lot of our residents, because a lot of our American residents did not grow up in Los Angeles. They came from Chicago or New York or various parts of the world. Even some people come from the South, from Georgia. And then, of course, we have true immigrants who have come from really all over the world, many countries in Europe and the Middle East. And those must have been difficult journeys. Mom, is there anything else you want to say about Lech-Lecha?
Yes.
Go ahead.
There is a difference between Lech-Lecha when you go from Chicago to LA or from New York to LA than going from a different country. When you come from a different country, you're an immigrant. And that is different than being a citizen going from one state to another.
Well, that's a good point. What do you think is the biggest difference between coming from another country and just coming from a different part of America?
Because coming from another country, you have to start with language and culture and learn different things. Everything is different. And coming from another state, everything is the same.
Right. So if somebody moved to Los Angeles from Chicago or New York, it might be emotional for them that they left where they grew up. Maybe they left where their parents lived. They left the people they know. And when they come, they could be scared or uncomfortable, but nobody notices that they're different, right? If I grew up in LA and someone from Chicago walks into my house or a restaurant or wherever I'm at, I can't tell that they're not from here. But if someone's an immigrant from another country, they're going to have an accent. They're going to be unfamiliar with the ways and norms, and sometimes they can be treated poorly. Were you ever treated poorly because you had an accent?
Yes. First of all, we experienced anti-Semitism because we went to rent an apartment and the lady asked, where are you from? And when we said from Israel, she said, sorry, I'm sorry. I already rented it. She was stuttering. And so we experienced anti-Semitism. And even now, after 60 years of being here, we still have an accent.
Right. Yeah, you've got a little bit of an accent. And, I think that's what makes Jewish people so sensitive about being welcoming of immigrants, because our entire culture was based on immigration, right? You have Abraham leaving his homeland, coming to Canaan to launch Judaism, basically. And then, of course, that story of Exodus from Egypt, where we leave Egypt and we were there for 400 years. And even though we were coming home to Israel, we weren't like the Israelites anymore in terms of the familiarity of the land. We were coming in as newcomers. And of course, that story has been told so many times because Jews have so often had to flee a place where they weren't safe to come to a place that was offering them hospitality. Thanks, Mom, for sharing those thoughts. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Bye.
Bye-bye.
A big thank you to my mom, Adina Bender, for her insights on the Torah portion. That photo that you saw of her, of course, is not current. It's from when she served in the Israeli army, about 20 years old, maybe 19 years old. So I thought that would be fun to put up while you heard her voice. I used to joke that I wasn't able to get help with my homework until I got to graduate school. Of course, I didn't really need help with my homework, but it was fun once I was starting to learn to become a rabbi to begin to discuss text and teaching and Torah with my parents, but particularly with my mother, who really knows the Torah inside and out. So when I was in rabbinical school, I had a roommate named Andrea Weiss, who is now Dr. Andrea Weiss and also Professor Andrea Weiss and also Rabbi Andrea Weiss. She was going on after rabbinical school to get her PhD in Bible, and she wrote a poem about this Torah portion that really examines the Torah portion brilliantly. And all those years ago, I set it to music. What she did was she played with those first two words of the portion, Lech-Lecha, which can mean, go by yourself. Abraham and Sarah, go by yourself from Mesopotamia, the land of Ur, to Israel and to Canaan on your own. You're kind of on your own, because sometimes journeys are something that we do by ourselves. And I'm sure that each and every one of you had a time, like my parents coming from Israel, but had a time where you needed to go from here to there, possibly leaving a place that was familiar, going to an unknown place. Lech-Lecha could also mean go to yourself, go inside of yourself and explore something about you and go on an internal journey. Lech-Lecha could also mean go for yourself. Do it for you. Sometimes journeys are not for somebody else, but they're for you. They're for love. They're for adventure. They're for liberty. Dr. Rabbi Andrea Weiss had that in mind when she wrote this poem, and I had all of that in mind when I wrote the music to it. Go forth on a journey, a prayer, a relationship, a covenant, a destiny. Go by yourself, standing at a crossroad. You venture from the known to the unknown. Some journeys must be made alone. To the unknown, some journeys must be made alone. Go forth on a journey, a prayer, a relationship, a covenant, a destiny. Go to yourself, spiral inward and unwrap your past, your potential. Remember that the soul which you have made is unique and holy. Unique and holy. Go forth on a journey, a prayer, a relationship, a covenant, a destiny. Go for yourself. Smell the fragrance that spreads across the land as you roam and wander. Refresh yourself under the tree which grows by the spring at the side of the road. Make your name great. Make your life a blessing. Go forth on a journey, a prayer, a relationship, a covenant, a destiny. You know, it really raises the question. For many of you, coming to the Jewish home was quite a journey. It really was. And it could be compared to Abraham leaving Mesopotamia, leaving his familiar town of Ur, and going to a totally unknown place. But every time there's a new journey, there are new opportunities. And I pray that each of you are enjoying every day the opportunities before you to have life be precious, to learn something new, to celebrate, and to make a difference in the life of those around you. And I know that that is what each of you do, because each of you touch my life every day, every week, and you touch the lives of all of those who are around you. Speaking of life and making it beautiful and touching, let's go inside now and make the blessings for Shabbat.
Lecha dodi, likrat kala penei, Shabbat nekabla, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom umevorach. We greet the Shabbat bride, and on the Shabbat I would love to offer you a blessing just for you. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, May God bless you and keep you. Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May God gaze upon you and your loved ones and give you the blessing of shalom, of peace, and of health. And we say together, Amen, Selah, Ken Yehi Ratzon. It's time to light the candles for Shabbat. Minnie, do you want to help me? Here we go. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Shel Shabbat, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, b'mitzvotav, Vetzivanu lehadlik ner, Vetzivanu lehadlik ner, Vetzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat. And now we make the Kiddush, which sanctifies Shabbat. The candles welcome Shabbat and mean that Shabbat has begun, and the Kiddush demonstrates that we make Shabbat a holy and sacred time. Yom HaShishi v'aychulu hashamayim v'aretz v'chol tzva'am v'aychal Elohim b'yom hashvi melachto asher asa v'yishbot b'yom hashvi mekomoto asher asa v'yvarech Elohim et yom hashvi v'akadesh oto ki vo shabbat mikomoto asher bara Elohim lasod Savrin Rabbanam v'Rabotai Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'avahu v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'mahaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Well, I know that you're going to be having dinner soon, and so to start dinner off, are you giving me your hand? Are you hoping I'll give you challah? That is so cute. Let's make motzi together. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz Shabbat Shalom. And you can all say Amen. Well, before we say farewell, I gotta give her a little, otherwise it's so upsetting to her. Before we say farewell, I shared with you a song that I had written about the Torah portion, but there's an actually really famous song written by the incredible songwriter and song leader Debbie Friedman, Zichronah Livracha, called Lech-Lecha, where she pointed out, of course, that it wasn't only Abraham that makes the journey, but it was Sarah as well. Men and women make the journey of Judaism. Every time we reach for Torah, every time we reach for our beautiful Shabbat customs and other customs of our tradition, and every time we ourselves make a journey, which can be daily. For some of us, it can be waking up in the morning and just taking that first breath and getting ready for the day. So I'd like to play for you a tribute video to Debbie Friedman, and please listen to the beautiful words of her version of Lech-Lecha, which is called Lech-Lecha. Let's take a listen.
To a place you do not know.
I hope you enjoyed Debbie's song as much as I did. Well, it's time to say Shabbat Shalom. From our home to your home, wishing you a Shabbat filled with joy and health and peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Lots of love. Shabbat Shalom.
When the sun has set on a Friday night, bringing peace into your home, families will gather all around singing Shabbat Shalom. Everybody sing Shalom. 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 Shalom.